Hi everybody, Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair, and this video is about CV joint boots, constant velocity joint boots. A constant velocity joint boot is the component, the rubberized component that covers and protects the constant velocity joint itself from the elements. A constant velocity joint is the actual bearing on the axle shaft that allows the drive axles to turn when driving the front wheels. Front-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles have at least 4 of these boots, if not more. There's usually 2 per axle. The most common boots that fail are the outboard boots because they're under the most stress from turning and braking and accelerating and all that good stuff. Not only is it the job of the CV boot to cover and protect, they also contain the grease which lubricates the CV joint bearing itself. If the boot becomes torn, the grease escapes and the joint can become contaminated with dirt. As with any bearing, it must be lubricated at all times with clean lubrication or it will fail prematurely. A typical CV joint protected properly will last the lifetime of the vehicle, and if the boot is torn and replaced promptly, there's no major effect on the service life of the CV joint. Torn boots that are not replaced promptly and ignored can allow the joint to fail prematurely with the dirt and road salt and sand and water and everything getting in there. If the joint on the axle shaft fails, it will make a distinct clicking noise when turning the wheel and accelerating. If the noise is audible, and if you can, in other words, if you can hear it, the joint has to be replaced. Just putting on a CV boot with new grease is not going to cure the clicking noise. The clicking noise is the actual wear. This usually doubles the cost and the expense of the original repair of replacing just the CV boot only. The repair process involved in the replacement of a boot is usually only a couple hours of time and can be accomplished in less than a day, even if there are 2 being replaced on the same axle. While it's not as common for the inner boot to have failed, they do fail just because of age. It's best when replacing one boot on the axle to have them check the other boot just to make sure that the other boot is okay. Oftentimes the inboard boot is just fine because it doesn't have near the stress that the outboard boot does. If, however, the inboard boot is showing any signs of fatigue and it has weather cracks or anything like that, the additional repair expense in changing that boot right then is very minimal as compared to replacing it at a later date. CV boots are not an item that is normally serviced at regular intervals. The replacement of a CV boot should only be done when one of the 2 boots on the axle shaft has actually failed. It will not leave you stranded on the side of the road or anything like that. You can have it fixed at any time. If you've waited until you can hear the clicking noise when you're turning and or accelerating, you've waited too long, and replacing the boot only will not help. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight as to what CV boots are, what they do, and how they keep you driving along happily. This is Wes with Above and Beyond Auto Repair. If you ever have any questions, please call us at 816-453-8282. Thank you and have a good day.